Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Gorecom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out big news. If you believe in the future of nickel and electric vehicles, electric vehicle batteries, then Power Nickel is an emerging growth company you need to start paying attention to. And who we have with us today, again, Terry Lynch, CEO of the company, trades in Canada, PNPN, and for friends in the US, CMETF. For those new to the story, Power Nickel, because you're seeing these great headlines coming out of the company. Power Nickel is aiming to create the world's first carbon neutral nickel mine. And they're doing that thanks to the acquisition, 80% of the NISK project from Critical Elements Lithium, CRE, who a lot of us know, who is focused on lithium. So what's great about the NISK property is it's a large land package with numerous historical high-grade nickel intercepts and actually historical 43101 that's being worked on and updated hopefully this summer. We'll hear from Terry about that. And it's located in a jurisdiction that's got infrastructure and everything you need thanks to three other battery metal companies exploring there: Critical Elements, Galaxy Resources, and Nemaska Lithium. And more than just lip service, the NISK has already provided one of the best nickel holes reported in recent history. And we're going to talk about that. And in case it's a mystery to any of you, nickel playing a crucial role in lithium-ion batteries. Right now, currently, 39% of lithium-ion batteries, let's call that 40, contain nickel. That's expected to rise to about 60% just by 2025. The demand, as you can imagine, is driving prices up, and that's why Power Nickel is in the perfect position. And the news today that came out just a few days ago, Hole 23 delivers Power Nickel final drill results from fall 2022 program, and initial results from winter 23 program are amazing. Terry, welcome back, my friend.
Hey, great to be here, George. That's incredible that you can run that long, man.
Well, it's only because of you I got to run that long, because I got to fit it all.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. I will correct just one thing. We did change the symbol in the States to PNPNF.
You're right. So we will correct that.
No worries. But we were very happy with hole 23. I mean, it's another big intersection, like 16 meters of 1.5% plus nickel EQ, and just another example of the NISK deposit continuing to deliver. We've had 40-meter sections and 30-meter sections and 20-meter sections and 15-meter sections, and it just keeps on delivering, and that's why it's been such a cooperative ore body, and there's some. Yeah, I mean, we couldn't be happier with how the drilling results have come, and we're feeling really bullish about our next steps.
Hey, in layman's, because you gave us some numbers there, but a lot of people who are following nickel, starting to understand and support electric vehicle batteries, are still catching up to speed with it. So those drill results, in layman's terms, how good are they? How would you explain those to the layman investor out there?
Yeah, I would say like they're top 5% of all the nickel results in the world.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, you look around, man. There's just not that many great nickel projects, and ours is right at the top. So very few. I mean, and what's interesting, George, is our comparable companies. They're trading at 6 to 20 times more than Power Nickel. And that's going to change, so that's the opportunity as the investor. And obviously, do your due diligence, check out our PowerPoints, look at our comparable companies, and get comfortable with it. But I always say follow the drill bit, and if you look at our last 3 assays, there've been major advances in this drill bit. So it's like, and we post, like if you go to our website, you can actually go and you can find all the drill collars and azimuths, and we lay it all out. People want to model it, and there's many, sort of, I would say, independent modelers out there that have done it, and many companies have done it, and that's why we're getting such attraction from the big boys. Is like we're totally transparent about our deposit because we own it. Why wouldn't we put that data out there for people to play with it and sort of see what ifs, for themselves, so that's out there, and they can check it out. This is a very robust deposit.
But for people who can't model, you're going to make it easy for them sometime this summer, because right now the non-compliant historical 43101 resource estimate is about 3 million tons. You're planning to update that in the summer. Last we spoke, is that still on track?
Yes, it is. Yeah, we're basically just getting the metallurgical study finished, and it'll be done probably by the end of May. And I'm going to show you a couple things here. I've taken
Right. This is going to be great. Let show us. Yeah, I love the fact that you put in layman's terms, top 5%. So that's got people's attention. We're going to run with that as our headline. Show us what you're excited about, what we should know here.
Yeah, so basically this is the first pod. You know, the thing with nickel sulfide mines, every single one in the history of the world produced from multiple pods. So when Mother Earth gives it up, you know, she brings out the nickel, she does it in a, you know, in many pods in a sort of geographic area. So right now we're working on this first one. This is the one we, you know, we made the initial discovery on, or our friends did when we acquired it. And this is sort of when you're looking at a side view, this is how the deposit currently lays out. If you were looking at it from the side, and you can see, you know, that green outline there, that's over a kilometer, because it's about a square kilometer here. And this, it goes down and it goes up to the surface, and it goes, you know, and it goes back down. So most of it is sort of in the 200 to 300 meter range, some of it at surface. And you can see it's quite a squiggly river, you know, and like when I say to people, when we're exploring, you know, when you're drilling, you're really trying to find, you know, the widest river possible and the deepest river possible, and the cloudiest being the highest grade possible. But of course, you know, the Earth will deliver what the Earth delivers. This is what it looks at, you know, if you looked at it from the top on down. So it's sort of
if I'm looking from satellite on down,
if you're looking at it above ground, yeah. So you can see, and if you went through that, you'd see all the intersections. Like, these are good workable mining lists that you could work with. I mean, obviously there'll be an open pit at the top, but then there'll be a couple of declines, and very manageable, you know, economic, you know, structures to work with, which is awesome. And this is what it looks like if you looked at it from, you know, the drills, you know, because this is when you're testing the drill, you know, you're basically, like, we probably are hitting on 60% of our drills, which is awesome, but you're never going to hit 100% because you're actually trying to, you know, hopefully get this thing wider, you know, and
give us an idea of what we're looking at here, Terry, a little more.
Yeah. So basically, for example, you know, we're looking at, you know, here's a hole done in 31 meters of 1.39% nickel EQ. Okay, down here, you know, 24 meters of 1.7%. You know, so you can see, you know, it sort of goes across, and then all the other end here, 17 meters of 1%. You know,
so the important thing is that just as wide as you go, you keep getting some really good intercepts. Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah, for sure. And that doesn't include some of our 22 results. Like this 2212, that was 10 meters of almost 3%. And then just before it, last, you know, the 2209 was 40 meters of 1.6%. You know, so, you know,
and again, these are world-class intercepts.
These are world-class intercepts. Yeah. So all this will come together in a 43-101 this summer. And we hope sort of mid-July to, you know, that's, you know, the gods are with us. We'll get, you know, by then, if the metallurgical study is completed in time. And, you know, the metallurgical study, you know, was something, you know, we had planned to do as part of ultimately to get to a PEA and things. But we had, you know, put out the 43-101 last August of our initial round of drilling, which was, you know, done in 2021 and reported in mid-2022. And it was, you know, 4 million tons at 8% or $8 nickel and 5 million tons at 960 nickel. But we had to pull it because the metallurgical study that we used was more than 10 years old. And that's not a problem in Ontario, Quebec, but in BC, it's a problem. And we're a BC recording regulator. Our QP didn't know this fact, and so that was missed, and we didn't know it, to be honest with you. So we did, obviously, once it was identified, we said, okay, fine, we'll pull it down. But ultimately, the ore is there, you know what I mean? And the, you know, we'll get, you know, the metallurgical rocks haven't changed. You know, it'll come back. And,
probably not.
No, and it'll probably be better, you know, because the technology's come a long way in the 15 years. So we're looking forward to getting that out. In any event, you know, we'll get this 43-1 out, and we've been thinking that based on our internal modeling, whatever, that we're probably looking at, you know, north of 8 million tons, somewhere between 8 and 10. And that's today, if you had 50,000 contained nickel tons, you'd have a mine. This will be over 100, I think, at first stop. And then I think the slide to look at is this one, because this is our property package, 45 square kilometers. We're working 1 square kilometer here, and we just mapped, we just did an airborne EM over what is a 5.5 kilometer now ultramafic sequence in this one section. And we're working just, like a little over 20% of it and a little over 2% of our overall landmass. And it lit up like crazy. So we're really stoked about where we'll go with this. And then, the next thing we're going to be doing is, using this fleet ambient noise tomography, which is the sound mapping to go over our existing core deposit. Map
But
it
for everyone
out.
at home, that's a brand new technology that very few companies are using, right?
Yeah, Talon Metals in Michigan, which is one of our comparable companies right here. So this is Talon, and that's their 60%. So the overall deposit is probably worth around 500 million or so. And we were down here, we just financed at 25 million. So they're worth 25 times than us. And yet we're going to be 8 to 10 this summer. They're 11. They're a little bit better grade, but not, maybe 15, 20% better, but it ain't, I don't know. It ain't 20 times better. I can tell you that.
I love the fact that you're not afraid to show the comparables. And by the way, it's not like you're putting down your peers.
No, and I think they're
they've got
undervalued
fantastic resource. You're just saying, hey, we're going to join the party.
No. Look, I'm just saying these are our great peers, and I think that honestly, nickel has been the undiscovered battery metal in my view. Lithium's got lots of play. Even graphite's got a lot of play. Cobalt's got a lot of play. Nickel has not got the play. And these things are all trading at about half their high. So I think at some point people are going to realize that, especially in North America, there's just like very limited. Like Talon's there's one mine in Michigan shutting down this year, and then Talon will be the next mine up in maybe 2 or 3 years, and then I think it'll be us. So it's there's just not a lot of nickel in North America. We've got Raglan, we got Voisey's Bay, and here we go.
And Terry, something happened last week, or was it a couple of weeks ago, in Chile, right? A lot of people don't know, and I want to hear your feedback on this. But my thoughts are, Chile says, "Hey, we're going to nationalize our lithium because they realize how important it's going to be to the future of the world." That to me says, if I'm an investor, big fund, big company, I just want to focus on North America, specifically Canada, where I don't have to have the risk of Power Nickel, makes this massive nickel find, and then George, the dictator, comes in, just swoops up, says, "Thanks, Terry, we're taking this for the people. Goodbye." So, do you think that's going to be a factor going forward for Power Nickel and all of the nickel companies you're talking about?
I think when investors, big investors, grade projects, they certainly grade political risk, and that's part of it. I think the Chile news is a little overblown, to be honest with you, George. Hey, listen, I think they should have done it. No, but that's sort of a headline, what I call a clickbait. They're really they did have a fairly aggressive lithium policy in any event, and they're modifying that, and they're accepting all the historic deals. So I don't want, I'm not a fan of their policy, but I would say it's not as draconian as at first appeared. When I actually did the due diligence and did check it out, because we have copper projects down there, and we're thinking, hey,
I know you got some copper
nickel,
down there,
or not nickel, but lithium. Why not copper? But they didn't, obviously. So I think, there's no question the political risk is that's one of the best benefits about NISK. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to share a secret. I talked to Gerardo Del Rio over at Resource Digest on the weekend, and we did an interview with him. And I was saying, Gerardo, the investors are missing something huge, and it's like found money on the ground. And they said, I don't know why they haven't picked up on it, but the Quebec budget and the federal budget in the last 3-4 weeks both said they're going to provide the feds 30% tax credit to build new mines in the critical mineral sector, and the federal and the Quebec government up to 25%. So all of a sudden, for us to build a nickel mine here, it would cost $400 million to get to the high end, where you're doing nickel powders, nickel anodes, nickel wire, where the real economics of nickel are, and versus say 225 just to make a simple nickel mine, nickel matte, etc., nickel concentrate. But you want to get to the high end, it's way better economics. So now all of a sudden, half that money is going to come from the government in terms of tax credits. That's a game changer, George.
Yeah,
and it's not just power
everything.
nickel. It's not just power nickel. It's critical elements. It's Nouveau Monde. All these guys that are going to have 3 or 4, $500, $1 billion developments, they're now getting half of it as a tax credit from the government. That's like cash. So it's like, have the stocks moved up? No. I mean, look at Power Nickel. We're like a 25 million market cap or something like that US right now. And all of a sudden, hey, does it look like we're going to become a mine? Yeah, it bloody does. And we're about to get, you know, the governments have decided to make it much easier for us to get in business by giving us $200 million. Has the stock moved? No, I'm like, what's wrong?
Well, I'll tell you
I'm
what
losing
happened,
my
though.
mind.
Those announcements came out right when Silicon Valley Bank was in the midst of
True.
its collapse and the
You're-
dominoes, and people were afraid. So everything else just went
Exactly.
risk on,
But
just
I
went
mean,
bye
it's
bye.
like,
So
it's
now
the-
we
it's
got to
the-
do. Now we got to get that word out there again.
it's amazing to me because it's like, holy cow, you just never, I mean, you know, as an operator, I'm like thrilled because, you know, I had gone to Korea, you know, about maybe 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, met with all the battery guys over there thinking, hey, at some point I'm going to need some big check writers to come in here and be part of this mine development program. And maybe they still will. I'll tell you another anecdote on that. But they, you know, this whole new government approach changes that. Now we can build it ourselves with bank debt and offtake. So it's huge. But just as an aside on the Koreans, what an amazing country. I went there and it's like those guys have no resources and they are kicking ass and taking names over there. They are, I mean,
How's the reception? How's the reception of Power
the
Nickel?
reception was fantastic, you know, and since then, you know, there's been a lot of, you know, a lot of paperwork changed back and forth. So we'll look forward to working with our Korean potential investors and partners, you know, as we move forward. But, you know, the interesting part that most people haven't heard of either is the Korean government has given these guys $5 billion, $5 billion to go downstream and invest in infrastructure, i.e. mines.
Way.
That, yeah, 100% way. That's happened.
They're saying go out
there.
there, find some great nickel, find some great critical elements,
great lithium, whatever. Yeah.
And go partner and go make the investments you need to secure. Why Terrace over understands at home? It's also they can make money from investments, so they can secure supply.
100%. They want to secure the future of their battery companies, and they know that if they don't have sources of supply tied up, they're done. You know, so this is a smart. Those guys, when you go over there, it was interesting to me. We went to, I think I went to 7 battery manufacturers, and each of them has like a giant building you go into, and there's a 10-story garage you park in. And you could eat off anywhere in those garages. It was like pristine, and there wasn't a single piece of rust on any car I saw in my entire time in Seoul. Everything was brand bloody new, and it's like, holy cow! And these guys are doing it. They don't have resources. They just got hardworking ingenuity, and the government that had strategically planned this thing and helped them along. It really was impressive, you know. And it's like I look at Canada and say, God, you know, we got so much to be thankful for. You know, we're so blessed with resources and water and hydropower, and it's like, guys, we got to do better, you know. But
well, I'm glad you said that, because I want to ask something. Back in 2008, I went online and said Canada's going to become almost a global superpower because we have all the resources ready necessary to feed the world and help the world grow. But then the political landscape changed, and let's face it, the Liberal government wasn't a big fan of energy and mining and all that. But now it seems like they have no choice. I think Canada, again, is now in a position to become a global superpower because we've got the nickel, we've got the lithium, we've got all those things. What do you think? Am I overshooting there, or
well, you know what? I mean,
the Liberal government's efforts, you know, they're not going to be able to stop this massive paradigm shift?
You know what? We certainly have the potential, George, but we won't get there without some major fundamental changes in approach in strategic planning. And you know, I'm not convinced that, you know, I think I will, you know me, I'm not particularly a fan of the current government, but I will give them credit for the one thing they're doing right is they're doing a very good job on strategic mineral initiative. I got to give them credit for that. That part they're doing well. You know, like, to me, you know, I don't know, like you look at the Volkswagen scenario. I mean, obviously that's a big chunk of change to lay out on one deal. Like, to me,
I didn't like that.
If you're going to put $10 billion or whatever the hell the number is there towards something like that, wouldn't they have been better off to, finance all the chemical companies, the chemical plants that are going to be actually making the batteries and making that's where the profit is in the battery world, right? That's why the Koreans are doing so well. They're making all that profit. They're buying resources for cheap, taking it, and like that's where the juice is. The juice is in making these the actual components that the battery manufacturers need, and they're making that, and that's the business that we should be funding. The car guys, they're going to be all robots anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how many factory workers we're getting to get out of that. And this seems really expensive. But I think we got the potential, we got the resources, but we've got to fix our strategic plan on how to go at this. And I think the other thing we got to do is still have to fix the capital markets, George.
Yeah, that's a conversation we need to have about short selling, especially in the small cap space. And we should have that discussion at some point for sure. But in the meantime, you're in the right place. Power Nickel is just in the right place, the right time. Like your acquisition of NISK couldn't have been any better.
Yeah, we're blessed. We've got a phenomenal ore body. We've got 3 sets of more assays to deliver between now and the end of June. We've got the airborne EM. We've got the metallurgical report. We're going to have a big surprise that everyone's going to be really happy with. We're going to have a spin out of the Chilean and the BC projects, which will create a pathway that'll be very tough for the shorts to follow, which will be a plus. So the next 2 months is going to be, it's like the Indy 500, the checkered flag's been dropped, and we're like flooring it, and we're in the pole car. So we're the fastest guy on the track right now.
And the most important thing is the drill is giving you the results. There's no it's not
question
hype.
about
It's
that.
not trying to just ride a wave.
Nope.
The drill is giving you the results.
100%.
I mean, top 5%, Terry. That's a big deal to say something like that. Top 5% results in the world.
Yep.
When do you think we'll have you back? Like, when's the next? Because there are still some winter drill.
So I would say
when do you think they'll start coming out?
Within 2 weeks, there'll be another set of drill results that'll be every bit as impressive as the ones we've been delivering. So we'll be back on then.
All right. Well, we'll have you back in a couple of weeks for sure. But in the meantime, congratulations on continuing just to deliver fantastic. I mean, the headline says all. Hole 23 delivers with an exclamation mark. I mean, you're the most confident guy I know in the space, and that's because you have the drill results to back up what you're saying.
It's entirely because of that, George. If you because at the end of the day, you just can't fake that. It's either there or it's not there. It's a 1 or a 0.
Very binary. You guys said the same thing, but it's 1 or 0. That's it. You've got it. And we're happy to be along on this ride with you, Terry. And nobody deserves it more, given what you've done for the small cap world and the advocacy you've done. You've done all this while you're advocating on behalf of everybody with government, securities regulators, everybody on short selling. So you deserve this kind of success just about as much as anybody does. Can't wait to have you back in the near future, buddy.
All right, George. Great to talk to you. Have a great day.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening to my podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform. To Terry Lynch, he's a CEO of Power Nickel, trades in Canada, PNPN in the US, PNPNF. Made that correction on the spot. For those new to the story, and you may not be totally familiar with nickel and electric vehicle batteries, all that, don't worry about it. Get to the company's profile page on Agoracom. Power Nickel, get to the profile page. And once you've got that initial good base knowledge, head over to the Power Nickel website, do your deep dive due diligence. Because guys, if you believe in the future of nickel and electric vehicles, then Power Nickel is a company that you have to watch. Just don't say 12 months from now that we didn't tell you so. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time.
Cheers.
Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel and never missing another great Agoracom small cap video.